Hello everyone and welcome back. Step into the dark underbelly of San Francisco's Chinatown, where the vibrant streets were once stained with blood and echoes of fear and death. In the scorching summer of 1997, a relentless war ignited, consuming the tranquil heart of this peaceful city. Within the heart of Chinatown, two rival gangs emerged as harbingers of terror, shattering the tranquility that once graced these streets. Join us as we unveil the treacherous secrets that lie behind the deceptive facade, unmasking a side of Chinatown that the world was never meant to see. On September 4th, 1977, a Chinatown restaurant in San Francisco became the haunting backdrop for a violent and tragic event. Gunshots shattered the tranquility, leaving behind a trail of grief and despair. As chaos unfolded, it became clear that this crime was not isolated, rather a grim reflection of the rampant violence and crime gripping the city during the turbulent 1970s. Amidst the terror, two off-duty police officers bravely called for backup, but the assailants vanished in a matter of seconds, leaving behind a devastating aftermath. 5 lives were lost and 11 people were wounded. Dr. William, an innocent victim, fell to the floor, while a tourist and a dedicated waiter lost their lives, forever casting a somber shadow on the lives of the waiter's fatherless children. In a chilling twist, the targets of the attack were members of the Wah Ching, a notorious gang that instilled fear in San Francisco. The Wah Ching, formed by immigrants seeking refuge from discrimination, found identity and protection within their ranks. However, their aspirations turned into a full-fledged gang war, plunging Chinatown into chaos and tragedy. A brutal showdown ensued, leaving a trail of bodies and forcing Sway Singtong to retreat to Oakland. Seizing the opportunity, the Wah Ching expanded their criminal empire, tightening their grip on Chinatown. Discontent brewed within the Wah Ching, leading Fong and his lieutenant Raymond Long to break away in 1969. Their newfound independence was short-lived, as Long was killed the next day, crushing Fong's dreams. Fong sought refuge in San Francisco's Richmond district, attempting to dismantle rival gangs by sharing vital information with the mayor. His pleas went unanswered, resulting in a merciless raid on their hideout. Persecuted by rivals and law enforcement, the Fong boys persisted. In 1973, Fong was convicted of attempted murder and sentenced to life in prison. Despite their leader's incarceration, the gang renamed themselves the Joe Boys, determined to carry on their mission in Chinatown. With a staggering loss of 13 lives on either side, the war between rival gangs was far from reaching its climax. Brace yourself, for the lengths these gangs went to gain the upper hand will send shivers down your spine. The year was 1977. San Francisco's Chinatown simmered with an undercurrent of fear that gripped its very soul since the opening hours of Labor Day. War had escalated to a brutal crescendo, and one fateful night in September, the gang would unleash hell upon their enemies in the notorious Golden Dragon restaurant massacre. In the blink of an eye, blood stained the walls, and chaos reigned supreme within those hallowed walls. 3 figures, shrouded in masks, stormed into the late-night establishment shortly after 2:30 a.m. Their arms wielded automatic rifles and a shotgun, their identities hidden beneath the guise of oriental masks. And with their arrival, pandemonium erupted. Witnesses whispered of the deafening symphony of gunfire, with an estimated 30 shots echoing through the air. But the tragedy that befell the Golden Dragon restaurant was not an isolated incident. In the lead-up to this cataclysmic event, San Francisco had already witnessed racially motivated slaughters, harrowing kidnappings, and chilling serial killing sprees. Yet the gang war of Chinatown carved its macabre path, leaving a trail of corpses in its wake. In May, Kin Chuang Louis, a member of the Wah Ching, was ambushed on the streets and mercilessly gunned down in a hail of bullets as he desperately sought escape. Then, on a fateful July 4th, a battle for control over lucrative fireworks sales between the rival factions erupted into a deadly shootout at the Ping'an housing project. A 16-year-old gang member lost his life, caught in the crossfire. A former Joe Boys member later likened the chaos to Dodge City, where weapons were drawn and the streets became a battleground, with gangsters leaping behind cars and darting into doorways, locked in a deadly dance of bullets. It was in the wake of these tragedies that vengeance began to stir within the hearts of the Joe Boys. When they visited the grave of their fallen comrade Felix Wei, they discovered it defiled and desecrated. A strike that would forever alter the shape of Chinatown. They would bring the battle to the doorstep of the Wah Ching, and what ensued would etch its mark on history. Months of meticulous planning ensued. From stealing a blue Dodge Dart for their getaway vehicle to accumulating the arsenal of weapons they would require, the Joe Boys meticulously prepared for their moment of reckoning. Then, on that fateful Labor Day, the call to action came at 2 a.m. 4 17-year-old gang members, Chester Yu, Curtis Tam, Melvin Yu, and Peter Ng, answered the summons. Despite their youth, they knew their duty, having spent countless hours honing their skills and understanding their mission. As the clock struck 2:30 a.m., the quartet pulled up outside the Golden Dragon restaurant, remained in the idling vehicle, the engine purring with anticipation, while the others donned ski masks. Armed with a deadly arsenal that included a .45 caliber Commando Mark III rifle, two 12-gauge pump-action shotguns, and a .38 caliber revolver, they prepared to unleash havoc. Inside the restaurant, a sea of over 100 late-night diners filled the air with laughter and conversation, oblivious to the storm about to descend upon them. Unbeknownst to them, their fellow patrons harbored a dark intent. The 10 members of the Wah Ching, enjoying their meal and drinks in a booth on the upper mezzanine, were unwitting targets. Little did they realize that one vigilant member, catching a glimpse of the approaching gunman through a window, would alter the course of this massacre. As the Joe Boys stormed into the Golden Dragon, the Wah Ching member made a desperate bid for cover. But the resolve of the Joe Boys remained unyielding, their sights firmly set on the specter of death itself. As the diners savored their late-night meals, an unthinkable terror unfolded, shattering the tranquility of the restaurant. The Joe Boys, driven by a deadly purpose, unleashed a storm of gunfire, wreaking havoc among the unsuspecting patrons. Amidst the chaos, 2 off-duty police officers managed to call for help, but were unable to return fire. Survivors recounted chilling moments of narrowly escaping death as bullets struck innocent victims, forever altering lives. Within minutes, the gunman disappeared into the night, leaving behind a scene reminiscent of a gangster movie. Chinatown was left paralyzed by fear as the community grappled with the breakdown of family structures, the erosion of traditional values, and the challenges faced by immigrants in a new country. The Joe Boys completed their mission and retreated to an apartment, dismantling and discarding their weapons into the San Francisco Bay, erasing the tangible evidence of their heinous act. Massacre cast a ghostly silence over the area, with residents afraid to venture out after dark. The code of silence prevailed, making it difficult for authorities to gather information. Determined not to surrender, the San Francisco Police Department established a task force to confront the gangs head-on. Surprisingly, an unlikely ally emerged. However, a week later, 2 innocent Joe Boys members fell victim to the Wah Ching in an act of revenge, further complicating the situation. The police chief criticized the Chinatown community for its silence, and the mayor offered a substantial reward for information, leading to the arrest of the perpetrators. Yet, the wall of silence persisted. Led by Inspector John McKenna, the task force faced the unique challenges posed by Chinese gangs, requiring them to investigate minor incidents rooted in episodes from the past. After 6 months, another gun battle erupted in Chinatown, and a pivotal figure, Robert Wu, a Joe Boys member, provided the task force with evidence implicating the Wah Ching. Curtis Tom, whose voice was captured in the recording, turned informant and betrayed his comrades. The trial that followed garnered significant media attention, with the city's residents demanding justice. Chester Yu and Peter Ng of the Wah Ching were found guilty of multiple charges of first-degree murder and received 20-year prison sentences. The Wah Ching leader, Michael Hot Dog Louis, met a different fate when he fatally shot his girlfriend, claiming it was an accident. Robert Wu, instrumental in the arrests, tragically died after robbing a jewelry store in 1984. Following the convictions, the Joe Boys disbanded, leaving Chinatown in the hands of the Wah Ching. By 1983, the SFPD task force successfully quelled the gang warfare, bringing a sense of peace after years of bloodshed. Remarkably, Curtis Tom, who played a crucial role in bringing the Joe Boys to justice, befriended one of the arresting officers, and embarked on a new path as a radiologist. He expressed remorse for his past actions and offered an apology to the victims and their families, haunted by the irreversible consequences of that fateful night. The case of the Golden Dragon Massacre stands as a chilling reminder of the endless cycle of violence that plagued San Francisco during one of the bloodiest gang wars in U.S. history. The Golden Dragon restaurant, renamed but forever marked by its brutal history, serves as a reminder of the tragic events that unfolded within its walls. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And until next time, take care of yourself, look after each other, and stay safe.